John, and you're not ready to go or anything. You're not eager. You're not right here ready to talk about hope and reality and the chasm between them. John, I'll do that to you.
Thank you. Some terrible things have happened in the United States, but one can only hope that we learn from those bad things. Those words were spoken by Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in an interview this February. I heard them for the first time after the horrendous shooting in Las Vegas, and they struck a chord. I was the editor of the Rocky Mountain News in Denver in 1999 when two Columbine High School students attacked their classmates and their teachers. At the time, that was the worst school shooting in U.S. history, and this talk is about feelings I've struggled with ever since. I'll call it regrets I've had a few, or maybe I wish I could believe what I once believed. Justice Ginsburg's words expressed how I felt at the time of Columbine. I believed good journalism could help us, could help Americans learn from bad things, from terrible things, that our reporting would lead to the world becoming a better place. Because it was covered live on cable and broadcast television, at the time we thought Columbine would be the mass shooting to end all mass shootings. How could we let anything like that happen again? Especially after seeing scenes like these. The Rocky put out 2 extra editions that day. The only thing holding us back from getting on the streets quickly was that the pictures we were getting from the scene, from our photographers, were so bloody, we didn't feel that we could put them on the front page. The staff's pictures, the ones you're seeing, would go on to win the Pulitzer for news photography. We were shooting mostly film in those days. We didn't have smartphones. We had a motorcycle rider pick up film and speed it back to our newsroom. And at the time, the Rockies' web operation was separate from its print newsroom, one on the 5th floor, the other on the 1st. The big concern, keeping the union out of the web operation. As editor, I wasn't even totally responsible for what appeared on the web, but we made a decision that day that would change the culture of our organization and how it was perceived nationally and internationally. Instead of hoarding our photos for our print edition, as was then the norm, we decided to share everything with the world as soon as we had it. And the next day, front pages around the globe carried pictures like this one from Rocky photographers. That was a point of pride in an otherwise very dark time. It's different covering a tragedy in your own community. I didn't realize then how much the story would dominate our lives. I believed in Justice Ginsburg's words. I believed that if we did our job well, if we provided independent, fact-based reporting, citizens would make informed choices and make our country better, as night would follow day, the way things are supposed to work. We committed ourselves to asking the questions the shooting raised. How could it have happened? Why? Could the school have done, or police done anything differently? Did nobody know about the plan? We kept at it even as we heard from many readers asking us to stop. Hostility against the press got so bad that we had people throwing snowballs with rocks in them at our photographers. Many people just wanted to be left alone. Seeing what we had seen, what the attack had done to the families of the dead, the wounded, the survivors, and the community itself, we couldn't imagine then that we as a nation would allow so many more shootings to follow. Yet, despite our dedication to the work, to countless investigations, projects, and special reports, it felt like nothing changed. If anything, Columbine had opened a door that we couldn't close. Copycats saw what happened and learned their own lesson. A list of mass shootings that could fill this entire Ignite talk followed. In Colorado alone, there was the Platte Canyon High School shooting in 2006, church shootings in Arvada and Colorado Springs in 2007, the Aurora Theater shooting in 2012, and the list goes on to this very week. I'm out of daily journalism now, but whenever there's a mass shooting, I can barely read the stories or watch the footage. I have no desire. There's a ritual to the coverage, and it always feels like it follows the same arc and ends the same way. Journalists tell the story of what it was like to be in the slaughter. Then we read tender accounts of the victims' lives, where and how the weapons were purchased, profiles of the killer or killers, accounts of the struggles of the survivors, And then most of us move on, even after the killing of 20 elementary school children at Newtown. Nothing changed. This ritual can make journalism seem futile. As journalists, we feel the need to bear witness. But to the same horror again and again, I can't say anymore that I believe we necessarily learn from terrible things. I can say that I've learned the limits of journalism and of hope, and I'm struggling with what to do about it.